Hello and welcome back to Podium Pop. I am Gracie here with my co-host Celine, and we have an exciting but sad episode here for you. We are going to be recapping the final Formula One race of the season in Abu Dhabi. And, let's just get this right out of the way. We are on top of the world because Mclaren won the constructors. How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel fantastic.
Yeah. It was so stressful.
It was the most stressful race of my life.
And we'll get into it. But we're going to get started right away because after we discuss the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, we're going to get a bit into some other, racing news, Elms, and Daytona stuff. So, let's pop the bottle and get right into today's episode.
Before we get too started, make sure you're following us on social media. We do post on TikTok and on Instagram quite often, and we also post our episodes on Spotify and on YouTube, so make sure you're following us on everything. And let's go ahead and get right on into the weekend.
Absolutely.
We'll start with FP1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you should very briefly just say George and Max went into this weekend still beefing.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way, at this point, it's
insane.
Played out.
We also, looked at our notes and we were I was that beef that happened this week, still? And
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of touching a little bit before the weekend really got started. Yeah. All of the drivers did get together for dinner, and it was very funny because
yes.
There was so much oh my God, did George and Max sit next to each other? They didn't. They sat on opposite side of the table.
Apparently everybody else tried to make them sit next to each other.
Yeah, they walked in. George got there later, and all of the seats were taken but one next to Max, and he moved the chair. Is what the streets are saying.
Yeah.
So real, so valid, so fair, George Russell, but so dramatic at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now should we talk about FP1?
Yeah, let's get into FP1.
Okay, FP1 was pretty exciting because we had the Leclerc brothers driving together.
It was Rookie Central.
It was Rookie Central, so they had a lot of teams still had to fill their 2 rookie tests or FP1 sessions.
Mm-hmm. I think there were 6 total.
Yeah, I think everybody was just. It was an exciting moment for Arthur and Charles to be able to do it together.
Another one, technically a rookie, did participate in FP1, but it was Jack Doohan did take over. We talked a little bit about it last episode. We did now discover that it was a decision on Alpine's side, not on Esteban's side. In fact, Esteban was quite sad about it, actually, and it was actually really depressing. They kept taking team photos, and they did the 2024 driver class photo, and Esteban was left out of everything.
Yeah.
And all I can say is fuck you, Alpine, because what's new?
No, seriously.
First the pink camo, and then you screw over Esteban. No.
Oh, I hope that poor team does something.
Yeah, they need to get something together.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it just feels like Travis Kelce has something to do with this.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce, if you're listening, can you or Patrick, can one of you get that together, please?
Or what's his name? Who's always there? Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds.
I don't think is he actually a stakeholder?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ryan, you need to do something.
I don't keep up with Alpine too much. But.
Yeah. The rest of the free practices they all went pretty similar. You could see McLaren was fast. You could see Ferrari was fast. Red Bull was doing all right.
Mercedes was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the free practices this week.
I woke up for free practice 1 because I wanted to see Arthur do it, and I wanted to see how Jack was going.
Imagine how happy their mom is that 2 brothers are on the track at the same time.
Yeah, she's probably very, very happy about it.
Yeah, what are the odds that one of your children make it to Formula One,
mm-hmm.
2 of your children making it to Formula One, and the fact that happened at the same time is just
very special.
It's so special.
And who were the last people to do that?
Ralph and Michael.
That's
Ralph and Michael Schumacher.
There were a lot of things on the line this week, and it was kind of insane. Not even just Formula One. We had Formula One Academy racing. We had F2 racing, both needing to finish. Celine?
Yes. So a couple of different things that we have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
In F2, there was a battle between Bortoleto and Isaac Hajar.
Yep.
That was decided this weekend. There technically was the win for Formula One Academy. That came up because of a 3rd race being added, and then there was 1 point for pole. So technically, if Abby basically didn't get any points all weekend, and Dorian had the perfect weekend.
Yeah.
She could have won. That didn't happen. Spoiler alert. There's a battle for, obviously, the constructors between McLaren and Ferrari. There's a battle for P2 in the Drivers' Championship with Charles and Lando.
Mm-hmm.
There was a battle for P6 in the constructors between Haas and Alpine. Technically, there's a battle between Carlos and Oscar for P6, P5, P4, in the drivers.
Yeah.
Which, again, that one was it was like almost impossible, but it was still possible.
There was a 19-point gap going into the weekend.
Yeah, so a lot of things were decided this weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's why qualifying we knew was going to be super important for this weekend. It was going to cause a lot of, well, we thought it was going to be quite a deciding factor with where the weekend would end. Yeah. Spoiler alert, it was nothing that we expected. But very quickly, let's get into qualifying.
Yeah, one of the most shocking parts was Lewis Hamilton getting out because I thought it was a cone. People said it was a board. Something got stuck under his car.
It was like a cone.
Yeah. In, like, the last two corners, which he would have made it out of Q1, but those last two corners put his time down at just the perfect amount where he was knocked down in Q1, which was, like, everybody was like, there's no way.
K-Mag was the one that knocked the cone off, and then it went underneath of Lewis's car.
K-Mag had to go with a little bit of terror before he left.
Yeah, and he had to get out of the way and run into the cone, otherwise he would have gotten a penalty. So, and he would have been, like, caught for impeding.
Yeah.
So there really wasn't a perfect solution in this.
At first, at least on F1 TV, you didn't see that he hit that cone. Mm-hmm. So we were like, what is up with Lewis? They were like, there's no way. What is going on? And finally, maybe it was, like, a minute later, they showed it, and I was like, okay, that makes so much sense. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That was like the big shocker for Q1. Mm-hmm. It was like, it was Q1. Both Haas's did make it through to Q2. Valtteri made it through to Q2. Valtteri made it to Q1. Fire.
Valtteri made it to Q3, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
He was on fire during qualifying.
Yeah, it was insane. At one point during Q3, he popped up to pole position.
Yeah. Oh my god, and I about fell out of my chair.
No, that was insane.
It was crazy.
Another big shock was Charles got out in Q2. Mm-hmm. And we knew going into the weekend that Charles was going to have, or from FP1, I should say, Charles was going to have a 10-place grid penalty because he had to change his battery during FP1.
Yes.
So, pretty crazy.
So, yeah, he technically, I think, qualified in 13th. Correct? 12th?
It's saying 14th right here.
14th?
But
maybe with, like, any, like, penalties or something. But yes, he qualified pretty bad, and the penalty just, really, he started at the back of the grid.
Yeah.
Which we were like, okay, wow, that's great news for us.
Actually, I was telling everyone to shut up. People were getting too excited about it on Saturday, and I was like, you guys have got to stop talking.
We gotta chill.
We cannot get too excited yet.
Yeah. The Red Bulls were kind of slow during qualifying. They couldn't quite figure out the setup, and I think all in all they were kind of insignificant the whole weekend. No one was paying attention to them because no one really cared what happened with them.
No.
Completely honest, at this point, Max already secured the Drivers' Championship 2 races ago, and also they weren't even, like, close to overtaking Ferrari for P2 in constructors. No. They definitely weren't going to get P1 in constructors. So at that point, same with Mercedes, like, people had eyes on Mercedes because it was Lewis's last race, but they weren't really, like, focused on it points-wise for where they ended up.
Other shocking things from qualifying was Nico Hülkenberg got 4th place. So exciting. But unfortunately, he overtook in the pit exit road, and he overtook because if he didn't, he would not have made it out to set a time, but that caused him to get a 5-place grid drop, so he started P7.
Yeah, which was so disappointing. I was so excited. At one point, actually, like, when he first completed his last flying lap, he did pop up to pole, and then very quickly was overtaken by Oscar and then by Lando. Mm-hmm. But for a second, with the time at 0, he did have pole.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know. It's just, it would have been a nice way for, I don't think he would have ever gotten pole, but, like, for him to be able to stay in the top, or in the second row, I think it just would have been, like, special for Haas.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
But no, he started in 7th because of that, which pushed everyone up. So the second row was Carlos and Max. And then behind that was Pierre and George.
Yep. And then Lando got pole, Oscar got second.
McLaren front row lockout.
We were so excited.
I know that's right.
And then the race started.
Yeah.
Which I have got to say, a while ago, or for a while, I had on like tweet notifications from Chris Medland. I forget. Oh, I think it was when I was flying to Vegas. I had it on so I could see like some of qualifying updates, and I still had them on, and I forgot. And we're getting into the race now. I am like recording a reaction. It's the last race. Our boys are starting P1, P2. I want to see what's going to happen. And all I get is just a notification that says Verstappen and Piastri collide. And I go, oh no. Yeah. And then you were like, tell me. And I know,
was like, she reacted. I'm like, what happened? She was like,
I was like, you just have to
watch it. I was like, you just have to tell me.
No, I made her watch it.
It was basically the worst thing possible to happen to us ever in our whole entire lives. It was the worst. I'm just kidding. No, but it was bad. So yeah, literally in the very first lap, I don't know if it was first or second corner, but Max and Oscar do collide, and it was Max's fault. He did apologize, but it was Max's fault because he locked up on a curve, took out Oscar. They both spun. Max spun perfectly. What's new?
On track.
Constantly perfect. He spun perfectly where he did lose some time, but he was able to get going pretty quickly, where when Oscar spun, he had to rejoin at the back. And then from there on, it was just kind of disaster happening. Eventually, later in the race, it did come out that Max got a 10-second penalty from that. And then while, I don't know if it was that he was flustered or maybe he was just like really extra aggressive because he's like, I have to work my way back up to the points. But Oscar did end up at one point bumping into the back. He locked up. It was an accident, but he locked up and bumped into the back of Franco Colapinto.
At a VSC restart.
Yes. And that did also cause Oscar to get a 10-second penalty.
So that was like, that like happening was kind of crazy, and like stress was just taking over. And while all that was happening, Charles had the drive of his life this week. Started P19, like we said. In the opening lap, he made it all the way back up to P11. That, like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Charles did so well this race. He put everything into trying to win the constructors for them.
Yeah, at this point, I was furiously doing the math.
No, my brain couldn't work.
Thankfully, F1 TV started doing it for us. Thank you, F1 TV. Yeah. Shout out to you all. But at this point, Lando kept the lead. He was still in the lead. Carlos was right behind him. And then Charles was slowly making his way back up. The whole time, basically, even if Oscar didn't make it back into the points, if Lando stayed first, no matter what, then McLaren would win the Constructors' Cup. It doesn't matter if Charles and Charles and Carlos made it all the way up right next to him. If Lando was first, then they would keep it. Yeah. So at that point, while we were obviously still rooting for Oscar to get back in the points, the main priority was like just keeping the lead for Lando.
And every time they showed him, I was like, don't show me him. I don't want to see what he's doing. Which, I mean, we should have wanted to see what he was doing because he had a near perfect race. He had no track limit violations, which a lot of people did. Yeah. He had, he did perfect. He was building healthy gaps at one point, they came up with the radio and they're like, okay, Lando, we're happy with it. You can start pushing more. And he was like, okay. And he went off.
He's like, slay.
We need to talk about the pit stop battle, basically, between Carlos and Lando. Yeah. So, basically, we needed to cover off Carlos to stay in front. Lando said he had faith he could overtake Carlos, but obviously, we don't want to do that if we don't have to. So, the Mclaren strategy team in pit wall, they did great with this. I'm so proud of them. Yeah. I'm so proud of them. Not Oscar. He's always on my mind. Carlos went into pit and I don't know if it was same lap or next lap. Lando pit right after Carlos and McLaren, the mechanics, they did that pit stop flawlessly. Absolutely. I can't even get over how perfect the entire team was this weekend.
No, it was, well, not the entire team. Oscar.
Okay.
But no, it really was a team effort.
They knew what they needed to do and they pulled it off flawlessly. Yeah. So Lando was able to basically cover himself off and still came out in the lead. He never lost the lead the whole entire race.
Yeah, he led every single lap.
Yeah, that That call was so good. The team getting 2-second pit stop. Oh my gosh, it was just so good.
It was fantastic, and all in all, like a lot of fast pit stops this weekend. So like the fact that we were still able to kind of maintain that, because Ferrari had a great pit stop.
Yeah, they did
as well. Strategy team, they had it down pat. Lando ended up doing a one stop, right? Or did he did a one stop?
I believe he did a one stop.
And Carlos also ended up doing a one stop too. So it was like kind of near the end. They were like, "Oh, do you want to do another stop? Like, how are the tires?" And he was like, "You know, they're getting a little dicey, but like I can hold them." And then they're like, and that's when they're like, "Well, if you put on new tires, do you think you could catch him?" He's like, "I could if I had to."
Yeah.
He didn't have to though, because like Gracie said, he maintained that gap so well. Perfect. But obviously things can happen out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
He could even just like lock up on one corner and it's like over. Everything's over. So that is why, like, even despite having like a freaking at one point like 8-second gap between him and Carlos, I was still nervous as hell.
No.
As this was happening again, Oscar was making his way back up. He did end up getting into the points after serving his 10-second penalty. It was a doozy. He got into 10th. At one point, Lando almost lapped him. He didn't actually end up lapping him, but it was close.
It was close.
But it was nice, though, because even though Oscar was a whole lap behind, they got to, like, cross over the finish line around the same time.
Yeah, that's very sweet. I made a joke during the race, and I was like, the announcers kept being like, yeah, you know what? Lando's looking good, doing good, 4 seconds ahead, da-da-da-da, like... It's looking good for you, McLaren fans. And I was like, shut up. And then I was like, Lando had a 22-second lead in Singapore, and I was still sweating.
And we're gonna stress no matter what.
I close my eyes and plug my ears when Joe Burrow throws a football.
Oh, and during the race, you did
oh yeah, like it's not just against like my drivers. I'm just saying any high stress moments when sports happens.
I had to nudge her when he was finally off the screen.
Oh, yeah. And I took my glasses off and plugged my ears at one point. When Oscar was overtaking Stroll and Yuki, I literally was like, I cannot watch
Oscar was on skates this weekend, too. He was sliding around everywhere, along with all of the unfortunate events that happened for him. He did end up, finishing the race. He's actually the one of four drivers of all time to have finished every single lap of the whole season.
And the other 3 drivers, Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, and Max Verstappen. What's the trend with that, Celine?
World champions.
World champions.
And icons.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it was, so he got that nice little statistic. Charles did end up making it all the way up to 3rd.
Charles did great this race.
Carlos maintained 2nd the whole time. Both of them did amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was, again, stressful for us.
Yeah.
Because basically, on Oscar's side, everything that could have gone wrong, other than basically retiring the car, did go wrong.
Yeah.
And on Ferrari's side, everything that, after qualifying and the events of that, everything that needed to go right went right. The only thing is they needed basically Lando to mess up, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lando.
Thank you.
So yeah, and then Lando, he won the race.
He won. He got his 4th win.
4 for 4.
4 for 4. That's
and
just
he won
so
the constructors.
exciting.
The McLaren has not won the Constructors' Cup since 1998, which is 26 years ago. Which is, did I do that math right? Yes, 26 years ago. And also, Lando and Oscar weren't even alive the last time McLaren won the Constructors' Cup.
We were 2.
That's
crazy.
That actually
I'm just so
crazy.
excited. Like, I love this team so much.
It was amazing, and honestly, I think that the whole team did so good all season, and I know that Oscar's probably like, I don't think he is. I don't think he's taking it to heart. If it was Lando, he'd still be taking it to heart. But for Oscar to have such like a shitty weekend and still have such an amazing result at the end is just,
yeah.
I just am so happy for him.
We were like, they obviously, which also, I know, sorry, this is a little off. I know that, like, the drivers, like, after qualifying and free practices in the race, get out of the car and go directly to the media pen. I didn't think they went directly to the media pen.
Yeah.
When Charles got out in qualifying in Q2, he hopped out of the car. He literally, I watched him walk over there, and I was like,
yeah, he was, like, there in an instant.
I literally would be like, no, I need 5 minutes.
Yeah, I need to, like, chill. Can I sit down?
Can I get a towel to wipe the sweat off my face?
Yeah.
Like,
can I, like,
come
just sit down for a second and drink some water? Thank you.
But that leads me to my point. We were like, where? Well, because obviously they got out of the car in front of the main grandstand, not in pit lane.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, like, celebrating and stuff. And we were like, where's Oscar? We need eyes on Oscar.
Mm.
They sent him directly to the media pen.
Yeah, he had to go. He had to go do some interviews.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually...
He was so happy the whole time. So he wasn't going to let that bother him.
Yeah, eventually he did, link back up with the team.
Yes,
and
oh, of course.
So much champagne content.
Oh, my God. You guys, as we're speaking, they're all probably so wasted.
Yeah. Like, what time do you think it is in Abu Dhabi right now? It's probably like
4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting to the point where they should probably start heading back home.
What,
we haven't seen any like drunk pictures or anything like club pictures like we normally do.
How Lando celebrated his Miami win, I don't think we're going to sleep anytime soon.
No. Yeah. I don't know.
I love it. I'm so happy. Also, Zach Brown and Oscar made a bet, and Oscar said, if I don't win, you can have... Like, if I don't win, but we win the constructors, you can have my, like, constructor winning helmet. Mm. And then, so afterwards, they, like, joked about that on there. I think they were, like, with Sky.
Yeah.
And they started joking about it. It was funny.
It was, like, Sky Germany or something.
I know, yeah, Nico was there.
So you just heard, like, translators over, and you're like, what are they saying?
Wait, what are they saying?
Yeah. But no, it was great.
Yeah.
Let's do our champagne pops and champagne problems.
Okay. Who is your champagne pop for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix?
Obviously, I'm going to give it to Lando.
I love that.
Yeah. I would say, who's yours?
I'm going to give mine to Charles.
Okay, I was going to say Charles is my second because, like, what a fantastic drive.
Absolutely. You cannot deny that coming from P19 to P3 on the podium is insane. Very Sebastian Vettel of him.
Very Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, and, well, that's also, they talked about it on F1 TV a bit. A lot of people were, like, get the car in outside or inside of park friendly conditions, like change the car, update the engine, whatever. Mm-hmm. Start from the pit lane, like see what you can do. But good thing they didn't do that, and they thought about this, and that's what Laura and Will were talking about. Like he made up so much in the first lap. Like it's very good that they didn't do that.
Yeah, agreed.
Who's your champagne problem?
I'm gonna give my champagne problem to Valtteri.
Oh. That's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking because he did
Yeah.
So good during qualifying.
Yeah.
So fantastic. The car was actually, like, you can see, like, just in the past, like, 2 or 3 races, the Sauber has gotten so much better.
Absolutely.
It sucks that they figured it out, like, at the end of the season. Like, Zhou got points last week. Was that last week? Yeah, last week. That they've been making it to, like, Q2, Q3 much more often. Like, it's been good. Yeah. And this was his last race, and he had to retire the car.
I know. That's really, really sad.
It's so sad.
So did Franco, though. Franco had a power unit issue.
Franco had to retire. Yeah. Checo retired. And then I think K-Mag retired.
Yeah, which kind of poetic because Checo had to retire because Valtteri hit him.
Yeah.
So, a little circle on that one.
Yeah.
I am going to give my champagne problem to Alpine as a team.
Yeah.
Not Pierre and Jack are not included in that.
Yeah. I mean, technically, like, they did end up keeping P6 from Haas overtaking them.
Oh, I'm just talking about the Esteban stuff, not the P6.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Non-track related.
Yeah, non-track related
They shit
stuff.
the bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's new, though?
No, moving in such weird ways. And I'll be on your walls if you mess with Jack doing.
Yeah, I'm super interested because, last year we got, like, some winter break news, like, right when the season ended, and then we obviously radio silence until the Lewis to Ferrari news came out, which was insane. Earth-shattering.
Also, we were on, like, our first week of doing the podcast, and we were like, how do we...
We had one episode, and we're like, we have to do an emergency podcast! And we did. But I do think that it'll be, like, probably, like, late January if we get any news, if we hear anything about Checo, like, I don't know, anything about, like, Isaac Hajar,
Yeah.
I don't know. Now there's rumors coming out that they're gonna put Carlos in Mercedes and Kimi and Williams.
That was, like, insane.
Which, like, when you look at it on paper, like, that's the thing that they should have done in the first place.
Yes.
And we were discussing it, and we were kind of like, well, maybe, I don't know if, like, maybe Toto did that, like, put Kimi at Mercedes instead of putting in Williams, because if he put him in Williams, or, like, rumor was he was going to put him in Williams, if I think Kimi would have gotten a lot of offers from other, like, teams.
Yes.
But because he got put at Mercedes, the other teams that maybe, like, you know, the Alpines or the Aston Martins or not the Aston Martin would, but, you know, any of those, like, level teams, maybe they don't, you know, reach out and try to persuade him to come if he's going to be at Mercedes.
Yeah.
And then now maybe they're switching him. But, like, it is a shame, and I say it every episode, it's a shame that Carlos is going to Williams.
I'm excited to see the post-test stuff.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting.
It'll be very interesting, especially because they're also doing the young drivers test. So, like, Pato's taking part in that, so are there some notable names. While you were talking about that and you said Aston Martin, did you see the news that Fernando's been dealing with a shoulder injury?
Yes!
Fernando Alonso has had a shoulder injury since Brazil.
Yeah.
And then he had those stomach issues, too,
Brazil was when he was, like, really in pain in the car, too. And he had trouble getting out. And he said it was for his back during the race. I don't know if, like, the back and shoulder, like, it's, like, all together.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was, like, saying back because he didn't want to bring attention to his shoulder injury. Yeah. And, like, his team knew that what was actually happening. I don't know exactly what happened, but, like...
That's insane.
Guys, he's getting too old to be in this race.
Like, it's, like, scaring me a little.
He's too old to deal with this shit.
It doesn't need to get to a point of, like, I'm not even talking, like, crash-wise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like... I don't want
his body is breaking down.
Yes, where, like, something happens during a race weekend or something, and it's, like, a final straw type of deal.
Yeah.
Like, what, like, I don't know.
And thinking about how many, we talked about this before in the past, but how many people on the track next year have not been born when he started racing. Because, like, like, now it's just Oscar. And Franco, I guess, technically. But so many more next year. It's, like, going to be, like, a little, like, dude, like...
Come on,
yeah.
Okay. We have some F2 stuff we need to talk about. Do we need to talk about anything more Formula 1?
I don't...
Like, just so excited. Oh, my goodness! We need to congratulate Max and Kelly.
Oh, yes. Congratulations. They have a little baby coming.
Yeah, they announced on Friday morning that Kelly is pregnant.
Yes.
Very, very exciting. I thought it was very graceful the way they, like, posted it and how, like, Kelly dealt with it. She, like, made a message that was, like, I know pregnancy announcements can be hard for some people, so if you're, like, going through stuff, you know, I'm thinking of you, like, sending you love. That was very, very sweet.
It was awesome. Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they announced it the Friday before the last weekend. I don't know why they didn't wait until after, because Max is, like, notoriously hates the media and, like, hates being, like, asked about, like, personal life things. I don't know if, like...
I don't know if maybe they still wanted to do it, like, last weekend, kind of get it over before winter break.
Or maybe
so they
just
didn't have to do anything during winter break, you know what I mean?
Also, maybe, like, they wanted to announce it where, like, if he could be, like, with his team and, like, his whole team would know kind of thing. And if he announced it just to, like, the other drivers in the team, like, most likely the rumor would get out.
Oh,
kind of
absolutely.
Thing. So maybe they were like, let's just send it to everyone all at once.
People were joking, like, Max spilled the beans at the driver's dinner and then they had to announce it the next morning.
He got back from the dinner. He called his, like, PR person. He's like, we got to do it now. I told everyone it's gonna, Lando's gonna spread it. But, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Some small, like, bits of news of it. It is announced that the Dutch GP is not going to be extending their contract after 2026.
That is so sad to me.
Yeah.
We also, like, very, like, early in the year, we were like, let's go to the Dutch GP 2025. I don't think that's in our cards for 2025. But I think we're for sure gonna try and go for the last race in 26 because it's very significant for us. A, we love Max.
Yeah.
B, my first race as a Formula 1 fan was watching the 2023 Dutch Grand Prix, and your first race
was watching the Dutch Grand Prix of 2022.
Yeah.
So it's very important to us.
So
it's very important to the growth and development of Podium Pop.
Yeah, Podium Pop.
But yeah, I think it's sad, and a lot of drivers talked about how it's like a thing that, like, with these tracks that don't have, like, a huge amount of sponsors, like, example would be like Vegas, all of the sponsors have, like, home bases in Vegas. So even if, like, no fans showed up, it would still be going on because they have enough sponsors to go. But in places like, you know, in Zandvoort, like, there's not a lot around Zandvoort. There's not a lot of, you know, like, people visiting Zandvoort outside of the Formula 1 weekend. So because of that, it's really hard for them to have funding to to put on the race.
Yeah.
And it sucks because a lot of these like really famous classic tracks are not going to be able to continue.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dutch Grand Prix, Zandvoort wasn't on the calendar for the longest time, and it came back. They knew it wasn't going to be forever, but I do think eventually it will come back, and that's what a couple of them, Max talked about it too, how he thinks it'll eventually come back. It's just going to have to kind of cycle through.
Yeah.
But it's really disappointing.
It's such a good track.
It's a great
track.
That
banking on the track is insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's
that
so
is
disappointing.
One of the things that Oscar talked about, he was like, this is going to lead into a slippery slope where we're going to these tracks that, he was like, no offense, the drivers don't want to go to.
Yeah.
He was like, we want to be at these historic, iconic tracks. Like, we don't. Basically, like, we don't want to be in Miami and Vegas, which, what?
Fair enough, but, like, we
enough.
love Miami and Vegas race.
I mean, what?
Yeah. But I think we'll definitely have to try to go to Zandvoort. We were going to try to go to Suzuka in 26, but that might be pushed back a year to 27.
We can't do 27.
Why? Oh, we're going to Monza.
Yeah, we're going to Imola.
Imola. Well, we can do both.
Well, listen, Suzuka and Zandvoort are far away.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go to both.
We'll figure it out.
2026.
Ooh. Ding.
Yeah, that'd be great. Last piece of Formula One news. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but Graham Loudon was announced as the team principal for the new Cadillac team. Mm-hmm. You read up on him a little bit.
I did read up on him a little bit. He has worked in Formula One before. He's worked in IndyCar before. It seems like he's going to do good for the team.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
As more and more leadership is being announced for this, as well as, like, it's actually crazy how soon it is.
No, I know. I think they can... I'm almost positive they can start developing their car soon. Mm-hmm. I forget. I read, somebody said it somewhere. I forget when it was.
Yeah. But, I wonder, like, when they plan on announcing their drivers. Like, will we hear about it, like, in summer break when all the other driver announcements start coming out, like the contracts? Or do you think we'll wait till winter break, like, right before?
No, they're going to do something big.
I think they have to, and also they got to kind of, like, stake claim, like, because I feel like they have to get at least one experienced F1 driver in there.
They do.
And so it'll be, like, kind of like, well, where's this person going kind of thing. So it'll be really interesting. I have no idea who would go, though. Well, what experience would go.
Yeah. I think also when they announce it, they need to do it at the same time. Make it, like, a big thing. Like,
Absolutely.
we have this new team coming on, 22 drivers, like, announce them both at the same time, make it a thing.
I think
hold a party. My God. Hold a party in Detroit. I'll go.
Oh my gosh, yeah, honestly. We'll drive up to Detroit. It's only a couple hours.
Freaking Lando or something.
Whoa. No.
Well, no.
But, no, I wouldn't like that. It is going to be really interesting. I feel, like, so excited about Cadillac, and I feel like I'm going to be a huge Cadillac fan, which scares me a little bit because I already love McLaren, and I already love Haas, and Cadillac. It's just a lot. It's a lot to manage, personally.
We know nothing about them yet, so don't...
We know nothing. That's true.
We'll obviously support because they're an American-based team. But.
Yeah. But I do agree that they should do, like, one big announcement.
Yes.
I think that's kind of something that Prema didn't do very well with moving to IndyCar. They announced them separately. They announced them kind of they announced Callum kind of casually, and then they did this whole thing for Robert.
Well, they did a video for Callum.
Yeah, but, like, it was like Callum was like Robert was like a lead up. Like, it was like
that's true,
hinted at, and like Easter eggs dropped and all this stuff. And I think if they would have just, like, one announcement, like, made it bigger, it would have been, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yes.
Okay, any more? I've already asked this. Any more?
No more Formula 1. We have some Formula 2 and Formula 1 Academy news.
Yeah. I'm so sorry there were some great helmet swaps this weekend.
Oh!
The Husbands did a helmet swap.
Yeah.
Joe and Alex did a helmet swap.
And so many special, like, great helmets, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Joe had a helmet with a bunch of, like, photos on it. K-Mag also had a helmet with a bunch of photos.
Valtteri's helmet made me cry.
Valtteri's helmet was beautiful. George had a really great helmet with, like, a tribute to Lewis on there.
Charles helmet for Carlos.
Yeah.
It was all so sweet.
A lot of special helmets.
So many helmets.
So many helmets, not Helmet Marco.
Where was that guy?
I don't know if he had to have been there.
I didn't see eyes on him.
Maybe he wasn't because, like, they already won kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of great helmet swaps.
Yeah. And obviously, Lewis had, like, an emotional goodbye to Mercedes. He before the weekend he did hot laps with all of his, like, direct team, and then afterwards he got to do donuts with Mercedes, not just himself.
Yeah.
And
which I'm glad that he got to do donuts.
Yeah.
But it does kind of be like, why didn't Carlos get to do donuts? Like, he was leaving the team too. Why didn't, like, Valtteri get to do donuts? He was, well, we know why Valtteri didn't, because he retired the car. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. I'm glad he got to do them, but it is just interesting how they kind of pick and choose who's
Joe said fuck it, and
Joe did
down
it anyways.
The track he did it anyways.
And good for him. He was like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do, fire him?
No, literally.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of emotional goodbyes. Carlos had an emotional goodbye with Ferrari.
He's crying. His radio message, don't get me started.
Valtteri and Joe, before the race started, all of the Sauber employees made like a little tunnel with their arms that they walked really through. Cute. And then it was funny though, because right after that news came out, Valtteri being like, I wish I'd never joined this team. He did. It wasn't as blunt as that.
He was like, that's a mistake I made 3 years ago.
Yeah. But it was funny because, like, I literally saw the video of them walking through the tunnel, and then I saw Valtteri's quote, and I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, finally on to the F2 news. So, like we touched on briefly before all this, going into the weekend, Gabriel Bortoleto and Isaac Hadjar were separated by 0.5. And we looked it up. They were separated by 0.5. I missed this race weekend. One of the weekends, Bortoleto and Paul, thank you. Think. No, maybe.
Was it not Paul?
Bortoleto and someone else crossed the finish line at quite literally the same exact time.
Just crazy.
They gave both
of
them
split a point.
They split a point.
They went halfsies on it.
Yeah, they said, "Hey, can we go halfsies on this?"
Y'all mind if we go halfsies?
So that was like a pretty insane statistic going into this, and race 1, Gabby won that, so that was very exciting. That gave him a 5-point lead going into the second race against Isaac, and unfortunately for Isaac, going out, he stalled.
Yeah.
So
his race was pretty much over before it started.
Much over, which is so exciting. I'm becoming a huge Bortoleto fan.
Yeah, we have like a soft spot for Gabby Bortoleto. I don't really know why we do, but we do. It just
started happening.
I think he has a really good relationship with a lot of drivers. Like, he has a good relationship, obviously, with Fernando. Yeah. Because Fernando's like his mentor, which will be cool to see them on track together next year. He also has a really good friendship with Max because they're on Team Redline together. Mm-hmm. And also, I don't know. We love Gabby Bortoleto here. Yeah. So we were rooting for him. So we're super excited.
Big Gabby girls, as we like
Big Gabby girls.
Big Gabby girls.
Yeah. We were super excited to see that he secured the win.
Yeah.
I think that Isaac Hadjar is a really talented race car driver.
He's very talented.
And I think that, there's a chance that he also is on track next year. We don't even know. But I think, if anything, if it's not next year, we'll probably see him on the Formula 1 grid in the next couple of years if Red Bull ever decide to get rid of Checo. Formula 1 Academy?
Formula 1 Academy, very, very... I guess we didn't touch on this. Last week, they had to cancel the race, which we talked about in our last week's episode, the second race. So this week, they added a third race to kind of make it up. The girls deserve to have all those races for them. Mm-hmm. So they did that.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah, me too. Which kind of how we touched on, basically, if Abby did it, scored an important story and could have won. But, so there were 3 races. It was a little difficult to keep up with.
Yeah, she did get, so the way that they do qualifying is they do one qualifying session for each race, but each lap relates to a different race. So they basically have to, they have to win qualifying, but they have to win it 3 times, but all technically on the same session.
They have to set a fastest lap, and then they have to basically set it again.
Yes.
And so their first fastest lap goes to race 1. Sorry, that was a bug. Second fastest lap goes towards race 2.
Yeah. And basically, Abby came in, absolutely killed it, got triple pole.
Amazing.
Which technically no one's ever done before because there's never been 3 Formula 1 Academy races in a weekend. So she set that record. Mm-hmm. Congrats. So as soon as she secured the first pole, she technically won the championship because of that. But it was great that she got triple pole. She did fantastic during the races. Yeah. So once again, dominating completely. I am really, really excited. She's so young. That for her to be so dominant, so young in her career, I think is going to be really, really important. Like, I think, already there's definitely some women that I would like to see, work towards Formula 1 already. Like Jessica Hawkins is one of them.
Yes.
But Abby is definitely one to watch as well because she is fantastic.
Yeah. I'm excited to see her next year. Next year. Very, very excited. Okay.
Yep. And then we have some other
racing news.
Big day for Podium Pop, you guys. Big day.
Logan Sargent's employed.
Woohoo! Yeah. Super, super exciting. He is not only employed, he's employed for Elms, which is European Le Mans Series, but he's on a team with our girl, Jamie Chadwick.
That is so cool.
It's
I'm
like,
pumped.
It's nice too because I'm like, oh, I don't have to like split who I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
Which actually I'm gonna because I have some teams that I'm already supporting in Elms, but it's fine.
Celine had a spiral this week about IMSA
I
and
did.
Elms.
I've always been interested in IMSA, and I actually like Daytona 24 is like the first thing. Daytona 24 of 2024. 2024. Oh my god. Okay, of this year.
Yeah.
Is like the first thing that we covered on our Podium Pop TikTok. It's the first thing other than Formula One I watched. I watched it before I even watched IndyCar. So I've always been interested in it. And I always, I like it just because it's so, IMSA is obviously American based, so there's a lot of like races that I can go to kind of thing. And I always had an intention to get into it. And the news of Logan Sargent, not even that he's going to IMSA because he's not. He's going to Elms, but it pushed me over the edge.
It literally did.
So I was like, okay, I sat down, I was like, okay, I'm going to learn IMSA, I'm going to learn Elms, I'm going to learn ALMS, I'm going to learn Asian Le Mans. I'm going to get a grasp on this because I just need to figure out what the fuck is going on because it's kind of confusing, guys.
Yeah.
I completely spiraled for like 3 days straight. All that went through my head was endurance racing.
We were coming home from running errands and we like always run errands together because we like just live at the same apartment complex. But we were coming home and I'm like, oh, like we just play music in my car like I'm driving. She pulls up the Asian Le Mans Series qualifying. She's dialed into my radio over the speaker. I hear Asian Le Mans qualifying, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "I need to check in on the pink car." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna unplug your phone now."
Shout out, Inter Europol pink number 34 car. I'm your biggest fan. I love you. You're
really
beautiful.
I was just
I
baffled.
was also all up in the IMSA team DMs this weekend.
Oh, yeah, you were.
I DM'd AO Racing to make sure that they would have a Rexy plush at the track at Daytona. Good news, they will. I also DM'd Inter Europol to see if they're going to be running, because their original livery is green and yellow, and then last year they did 2 green and yellow cars for all the series that they were in, and Asian Le Mans Series like the first start of the year, basically. Like, they're starting now, where, like, Elms doesn't start until, like, next year. Same with IMSA, that kind of thing. So, I DM'd them, and I was like, are you also going to be running one of the pink cars in IMSA and Elms? And they said, guess we'll find out, with a little eye emoji. I'm like, I'm going to take that as a yes. And if that happens, then, yeah, I'm going to be her Vegas fan as well.
It's kind of
which
insane.
Is a conflict of interest for me. Because Pietro. Anyways, Logan's on Elms.
Congratulations,
Very, very,
Logan.
very, very exciting.
He hasn't made a post about himself. He's reposted stuff in his stories. I would just like to hear from him.
Yeah, can you check in? And also, when do we know about the number 30 car? Because at this point, I do think I've convinced myself that it's actually Renus VK getting the number 30 car, which I will be excited about.
Yeah,
I love Renus. I'll be very, very happy. But I would also just like to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to have it put to bed, you know?
That's so fair.
I don't know. Hopefully we at least find out by the end of the year. I can't keep up with this. I'm about to DM Graham, no, not Graham Rahal.
David Letterman.
But yeah, I will be in David Letterman's DMs. At this point, I had 2 teams respond to me this week. Nothing can stop me.
His social media manager is like, Mr. Letterman, what is this all about? What is this?
They don't even know. Like, yeah, like, the people are like, what? You own a race car team? I'll DM Bobby.
You would DM Bobby Rahal.
I'll DM him. Actually, I don't think he's very active on social media. He doesn't post at all, really.
I couldn't tell you.
No, I won't, because I don't want to embarrass Pietro, you know. Like, oh, Pietro's girl's all up in my DMs asking about him.
I don't want you to do that to embarrass Podium Pop.
Well, I'm more worried about Pietro, but yeah. Fair enough.
Get a grip.
Our reputation can bounce back from a lot. Not everything.
Don't say that. I think that's so...
No, we, like, something embarrassing like that. Like, obviously not, like, canceled, but, like, embarrassment-wise, we can bounce back pretty easily.
You can.
We're likable.
Likeability is a prison.
Sure. That's so true.
Yeah.
Some more news about Daytona. Colton Herta announced that he'll be doing Daytona.
Yeah.
We're hoping to hear some good news about Kyle Kirkwood also participating, but the jury is still out on that one.
Mm-hmm.
K-Mag also announced that he is moving to WEC. for BMW, and he will also be doing Daytona because of that as well. He'll be participating in Daytona. I'm interested to see if he'll be in Le Mans.
Yeah.
We don't know if
he's doing WEC, he will be in Le Mans.
All WEC teams do
all
it
WEC
for
teams
sure.
Do Le Mans.
Do all Elms teams do it?
No.
So we don't know about if Logan will be doing Le Mans, but Jamie did say that she was going to be doing Le Mans.
Yeah.
So hopefully that is good news for Logan, but they kind of pick and choose their Le Mans teams. Like they can, basically.
From Elms, the runner or the winner from last year automatically gets an entry into Le Mans.
Yes. So.
Okay.
Okay, slay. Some more news for IndyCar. A new team, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Dreyer and Reinbold, and racing. Dreyer and Reinbold racing. Dang, that's hard.
Try again.
Dreyer and Reinbold Racing.
Dreyer and Reinbold Racing.
Okay, well, they are going to be doing participating in the Indy 500 with Ryan Hunter-Reay and Jack Harvey. Two great racers that have proven themselves to be fantastic. So it'll be an awesome team to see participate in the Indy 500.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. Honestly, I think that might be everything.
Yeah, did we get through everything on your notes?
I think so.
Whoa. Lots to cover in this episode. So, obviously, we are going into winter break, and I'm sure there is going to be news and stuff. Our episodes are going to continue. The only time we're going to take a break is the weekend between Christmas and New Year's. We will take a break that weekend. Our next 2 episodes that we have planned are going to be looking at our 2024 predictions from earlier this year.
I forget what I said.
I remember some, but I'm going to save it for that full episode.
Like, I was talking a lot of shit in that episode, so, like, don't know. Like,
this is, like, our second episode, and you went, like, boots ground running.
Yeah, and I don't remember what I said, so it'll be really interesting for me to, like, look back and be like, why did I think that?
Yeah.
But I do think I think I did pretty good.
I think you did better than me.
Like, I feel like, I don't know, like,
you were cooking something in your brain.
I was manifesting. I had my manifestation cap on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then another episode we have planned is doing our podiums for the year. So we'll have, like, a bunch of different categories. Some of them are, like, favorite special helmets, podium for, like, special helmets, podium for funny radio messages, things like that. Just, like, little categories that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And also this on Friday is the FAA prize giving. So we'll talk about that next week too.
Yeah.
Oh, Max Verstappen has to do his community service.
Yes.
He's doing it in Rwanda.
Yep.
So, he's working with the kids, so I feel like he's not going to be that... he's going to be upset he has to do it, but he's not going to be that upset.
Yeah, and it's going to be like a motorsport, like, he's helping kids in motorsport kind of thing. Yeah, because the FIA prize giving is also taking place in Rwanda, so that is where he's doing the community service and then going to that, and I think it'll be good. Yeah. I'm excited. I don't know if we'll get content out of it or not. Like, at some points I, like, hope they don't do it for content, but also I'm like, I also want to see him interacting and being cute with kids. So, like, if it
double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword. It is tough. But yeah, obviously we'll also be doing episodes in January leading up, just because at that point we'll be getting closer to, like, getting ready for Daytona. So who knows, maybe we'll do some episodes about IMSA if we're lucky.
I'll be sitting here and Celine will just be talking the whole time.
You'll be learning.
Yeah.
I'll be teaching you there.
I'll give you 2 IMSA episodes before January.
That's actually more than I was expecting.
Daytona, I mean.
Oh, I love that. But I'm sure IndyCar news will come out. Formula 1 news will come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we'll just keep you updated about everything. But thanks for sticking with us through this season. Yeah. What a season it's been.
We have recapped every race except for when I had computer issues. This is like a cute little Podium Pop moment.
Yeah, no, this is like I don't even know what number episode we're on, but like
we lost count.
What a long year it's been. 24 races for the drivers. I'm feeling the exhaustion too. Like, I'm like, wow, at least we don't have to like recap another race, which like, I mean, I enjoy it, but like, it's been a long season, but it's been like the best time ever. Yeah, it's been so fun. Such a good season. You go. I was just gonna say we always talk about how like great of like a season it is, like just the racing that we got this season was amazing, and all of the different winners and stuff. But like also like the opportunities that we got to go to the races, the friends that we met while going to the races, and you know, posting online about it, and then also just like being able to experience all of this for it being our first year that we're covering as like a podcast.
Yeah,
we couldn't have gotten luckier.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine we started last year. Max won again.
No, yeah, and I was gonna say, for this being like my first full season I watched too, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'm excited to see what next season brings.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're saying bye for the year, but we'll be back next
we'll
week.
literally be back next week.
But all in all, thanks for keeping up on this journey with us.
It's very exciting, and we're just getting started. Absolutely. Hope all the drivers have fun on their winter break and enjoy their time off, and the teams.
Yep.
I'm already chomping at the bit.
Yeah. How many days until the next
96.
You knew that? Okay, perfect.
Yep.
96 days. We can do that.
We
right?
can do that.
We can do that. Can you think about how long it's been since we've had an IndyCar race?
Oh yeah, that's been long, since September.
It's been long.
But you know what I was thinking about what I was thinking about is how when Lewis when it was announced that Lewis was going to Ferrari, we were like, oh, but we have this full season. It's going to be so long until Nope, we're here already.
Time flies.
It went quick, but at the same time, like, it felt accurate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's been a long and winding journey.
It has. Anything else before we head out?
Nope, I think that's everything.
Okay, thank you for watching. We'll be back
you.
next week.
Bye.